Namaste. In today's world, we often encounter various limitations, whether they are societal, personal, or circumstantial. These limitations can feel like barriers to our growth and potential. Today's session will illuminate how these very constraints can become the stepping stones to personal liberation and empowerment. On behalf of our chairperson Priya Gazdar and her committee, I, Sujita Chityala, Honorary Secretary of Flow Hyderabad, extend a warm welcome to our esteemed speaker, Ms. POOJA BEDI, renowned for her profound insights into personal growth and societal change, along with our distinguished past chairs, special invitees, and fellow Flow members. May I now request everyone to please rise for National Anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I request Flow Chairperson Priya Gazdar, our distinguished speaker Ms. POOJA BEDI, and Flow Past Chair Ms. Ritu Shah, and Y Flow Past Chair Ms. Aarti Shah to step forward for lamp lighting. I request the past chairs to stay. Followed by the executive committee. Please run for a picture. Chairperson Priya Gazdar will now deliver her welcome address.
Namaste and good afternoon. It's lovely to see a full house. Guest speaker, Ms. POOJA BEDI, past chairpersons, the change makers, and my dear members. In 2011, national level volleyball player Arunima was on a train when thieves tried to snatch her bag. Fighting back, she was thrown off the moving train. Another train came hurtling, and in an instant, she lost her left leg below the knee. Lying in a hospital bed, with the weight of a shattered dream pressing down on her, Arunima made a decision. She wasn't going to let this tragedy define her. She set her sights on a goal so audacious that it seemed impossible: to climb Mount Everest. With a prosthetic leg, she began training, pushing her body beyond its limits. It wasn't just about the climb. It was about proving to herself that no obstacle was unsurmountable. 2 years later, Arunima set out on a journey that was perilous, to say the least. Every step on the snow-laden mountain tested her endurance. Through the biting cold and oxygen deprivation, she carried with her the memory of that fateful day on the train tracks, using it as fuel to keep going, until she stood proud and tall atop Mount Everest. Arunima didn't just conquer Everest. She conquered the doubts, the pain, and the fear, showing us that no matter how impossible the journey, perseverance will win the day. And today, we will try to unravel some of the ways in which we can channel our inner strength to go from limitations to liberation. But before that, a quick recap of the month that went by at Flow Hyderabad. I had the privilege of representing Flow at the International Workshop on Effective Policies, Programs and Schemes for Empowering Youth and Women in Establishing and Managing MSMEs, organized by NIMSME in collaboration with the African Asian Rural Development Organization. To commemorate Independence Day, we organized a talk by Kargil war veteran Captain Yashika Hatwal Tyagi. Her stories of courage under fire left every eye moist and filled with a sense of gratitude and pride for our armed forces. We collaborated with National Stock Exchange to learn how to inflation-proof our investments. Our Mindshare program, in collaboration with YFlow, was a smashing hit, to be modest. 16 participants found their voice, honed their innate potential under the vigilant guidance of TEDx curator Vivek Verma, and emerged fearlessly confident on stage as they narrated their stories and innermost thoughts. 5 of them may have made it to the finals, but each one of them is a winner in every sense of the word. Congratulations to all our Mindshare graduates and the extremely diligent Flow Mindshare team for the success of this dream project. The EduSkill team launched free Tally Pro courses for final year graduation students of Government Degree College for Women, Begumpet, and at Sharda Vidyalaya Graduate and PG Colleges, Shamsherganj. Run in collaboration with Avinash College of Commerce, this certification course will empower 300 women to land better jobs. Our thanks to Education Initiative partner Swastik for stepping forward to own the project. Flow Hyderabad collaborated with Young Women's Business Leadership Program to organize workshops on soft skills for senior school girls. The first in the series was conducted at Mehboobiya Girls High School, Abbots, and there are many more in the pipeline. The Sakala team facilitated the distribution of 24 bicycles to young girls of Zilla Parishad High School, Siddipet. Supported by Mukul Madhav Foundation, this initiative aims to increase independent mobility and thus reduce the school dropout rate amongst girls attaining puberty. The team was also behind the record-breaking Handlooms Day social media campaign floated by Flow National. Kudos to the Sakala and social media teams for pulling off this feat in a mere 21 hours. And I must say, I've heard it from good sources that we are on top, in the tally. As we speak, the Sakala team is participating in the National Handlooms Exhibition, Anshukam, where 2 artisans from Gollabhama and Telia Rumal clusters and 2 leading designers, Archana Jaju and Krishna Madana, are representing our chapter. Flow Hyderabad has funded the travel, stay and inventory investment for the artisans with the support of initiative sponsor, McLean. Resilient Roots, our agriculture initiative, is empowering 100 rural women farmers with the techniques of modern vegetable farming. We will soon be able to see the first crop showcase of this initiative that is supported by Vision Tech. The team also conducted a unique activity in connection with Raksha Bandhan. Titled Beej Bandhan, it included a workshop on green living and the distribution of plantable Rakhis and activity books to school children to inculcate the sense of environmental responsibility in them right from the young age. The social media team ran a vibrant campaign celebrating the spirit of patriotism for Independence Day. The campaign saw impressive engagement, which not only fostered a sense of national pride, but also strengthened the community's bond through shared celebrations. With a 14-member contingent, Hyderabad's representation in the international business delegation to the Baltic nations was strong and substantial. The team came back enriched with possibilities-laden B2B conversations. On the 8th and 9th of September, we hosted a 14-member business delegation of women entrepreneurs from the ASEAN countries and 5 senior flow leaders, including the national president, Joy Sridas Verma. The highlights of the 2-day tour include a visit to the Flow Industrial Park, a meeting at the Secretariat that threw light on Telangana State's business-ready policies, B2B meetings with industry professionals from AI, fintech, web, handlooms, food, hospitality, coffee, pharma sectors, and a networking dinner attended by the who's who of the city. We recently signed an MOU with the International Startup Foundation to further the cause and reach of women entrepreneurship. The organization is conducting the International Startup Festival from 26 to 28 September at Engineering Staff College, Hyderabad. An orientation session was held yesterday for Pan-India Flow members to take them through the steps of applying to present their pitches to the 500+ investors attending the 3-day festival. A special pavilion has been designated for Flow in their expo, where members can showcase their products and services to the 5,000+ visitors expected. Do get in touch with Growth Forge team lead Radhika Agarwal for more details. Our final round of interviews for new member intake is on 19th September, followed by the orientation on 28th. If you have any names to recommend, please share the same with membership team lead Gunjan Sindhi. Our members continue to outdo themselves in various fields. Hearty congratulations to this month's awardees, Dr. Vani Vegalam, Dr. Shri Kadapa, and Chitra Kotha. I urge all of you to let us know when you have won some awards or done anything outstanding. We would love to cover it. And finally, let's take a look at what participating members of the annual retreat 2024 to the Hidden Gem Bhopal will be enjoying over the 3 nights, 4 days sojourn. Film, please. Thank you. So Bhopal, the hidden gem, is waiting for you all. I would now like to thank our speaker of the day, POOJA BEDI, for agreeing to join us here today to share her innermost thoughts, her fears, and her triumphs. Over to Prachi Shah, Head Social Media Team, to introduce our illustrious speaker.
Thank you, Priya. Good afternoon. It is an honor to introduce our speaker of the day, Ms. POOJA BEDI. Ms. Bedi, born to renowned celebrity parents, has established her own unique identity over a career spanning 3 decades in television, film, advertising, talk shows, reality shows, and media. She is now a prominent wellness entrepreneur with her brand Happy Soul and startups like Magicians of Wellness and Merchants of India. These ventures offer wellness workshops blending her 18 years of study in alternative sciences along with wellness retail, cafes, products, a wellness channel, and an e-commerce with more expansion planned. Ms. Bedi has received numerous awards for her contribution as a professional and humanitarian. Recently, she was honored as the Leading Wellness Entrepreneur 2023 by the Shakti Awards and Wellness Entrepreneur of the Year 2023 by Business Goa. She also played a role in We Women Want movement recognized by Prime Minister Modi. A certified expert in various wellness modalities, Ms. Bedi holds a diploma from CHII and certifications in areas such as NLP, Karuna Reiki, magnified healing, and more. Please join us in welcoming Ms. POOJA Bedi to Flow Hyderabad chapter. I now hand over to our chairperson, Ms. Priya Gazdar, to take the session forward.
POOJA.
Hi. Firstly, hello everybody. It's really lovely to be here. It's always a pleasure for me to have a room packed with women, of various demographics in a sense, because each person's lives are so similar and yet so different. So it's really lovely for me. I've attended many FICCI forums and shared, and it's really incredible when a sharing leads, in a sense, to caring, because other people's lives get inspired by reality. We look at cinema, we dream, there's an illusion of what we want our lives to be like, and there's the hard reality of what we actually deal with, and the doing of the doing. And I hope in some way that during the course of this wonderful session and the questions that will be posed to me, that nuggets of wisdom or life will be presented to you in a way that perhaps you can make your lives a bit more powerful and stronger and more meaningful in every way. So looking forward to this, and go ahead, Priya, ask me.
Let's start. So you would all remember the year 1992. There were many reasons. It was a watershed year in India. There were some reasons that were not so good. One was the Harshad Mehta scam, the Babri Masjid dispute, the collapse of the Indian rupee exchange rate. But the rainbow on the horizon was India's own Marilyn Monroe moment, iconically created by a young POOJA Bedi in Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar.
Gosh, was all that happening while my dress was flying? Wow.
That is still an enduring image for lots of teenagers who are no longer teenagers now, but I'm sure they still have that poster. So tell us how that came about. How did you, get into movies, and what impact did that particular movie have on your life, your career, and your personal growth?
I come from this very bohemian background. I come from this family that's a very open family and a film family. So getting into films wasn't unusual. I know a lot of people talk about nepotism, and this word is thrown around rampantly for the film industry. And it's seen as something horrible, right? But when a businessman's son goes into business, no one shouts nepotism. When a doctor's son becomes a doctor, no one shouts nepotism. When a sculptor's son becomes a sculptor, they don't scream nepotism. Why is it that they do that with the film industry baffles me. It's natural that when you're born into something, that you would have an affinity for it, because you've grown up with it. You've grown up with that world. You've grown up with that knowledge. You've grown up with that system around you. You've grown up liking what you see, or perhaps not liking what you see, and then you go into something else. So getting into films was actually something I didn't want to do. I wanted to be a mover and shaker on Wall Street. I wanted to be about the power brokers of the world. I was a school topper, and I was convinced that I was going to be there, and films was not for me. And quirk of fate and various situations led one into the other, and I toppled into Bollywood thinking I was going to do just one film, which wasn't Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar, it was Vish Kanya. Please do not watch it, okay? So and Jo Jeeta came along because I needed to pay my bills, because my mother decided she wanted her own life and her own vision of what she wanted for herself, because she thought I was going to be abroad, which I was, and I came back because of various reasons. I really missed India so much. And being a boarding school child, I have to say, it's not homesickness, because I'm used to being away from home for extended periods of time. But I came back to India, and my mother decides that she needs to do Nityagram, her dance village in Bangalore, and took off and left me with this home and a dog and a cook and society bills and food bills, and said, you will survive, the universe will take care of you. So, and I just signed my first film. We got some 25,000. I did the concept of where will this go my whole life. And so I started signing more films and doing more work. And Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar came along. And with that red dress flying, that iconic moment, I suddenly got sort of slotted as the sex symbol of India. And all of a sudden, I'm on the covers of all these magazines saying sex symbol of India and winner of the sex. And they used to have these polls in movie magazine, who's the sexiest, and readers would sit and poll and things like that. And I just said, you know what? If I have to be sexy, I might as well be the best at doing it. Right? So let me just go all out and be like the sexiest. Right? And that became a motto with me. And whatever I did, I wanted to do it 100%, which also came from school. If I was in school, I was topping my thing, I was signing the Book of Honor. And I said, I'll be 100% of whatever I do in my life. And so when I tossed up my career to be married, I married a fairly conservative Muslim man. But he wasn't that conservative, his family was. And, and I gave it all up for holy matrimony, and everyone thought I was nuts. And I said no. And I asked my mother many times. She said, darling, if you're going to do something, give it your 100%. And I did. And I wanted to be the best wife, right? And then everything, what does it take to be the best wife? So everything from, how the tables were laid to perfection, to the napkin folding, to the vegetable carving on the tables, all the cooking courses in the world, making sure he was happy, making sure the home was beautiful, the scent of the home was beautiful, you were able companion, you were supportive, you were loving, nurturing, you had great children, you become the best mother, then you get divorced, you become the best divorcee, So I'm really great friends with my ex-husband, and I've worked very hard at being that. And today he's remarried and he has a child, and my children with him and his child with Laila are so close. It's uncanny. It's just like we're just one super tight family. And we meet up and we have dinners together and we go out together. And it's just a very warm, wonderful, it's like we've added someone to the family, and it's a question of mindset. And I think that's what we're going to explore through this entire session, the concept of mindset. Because you can choose to see divorce as something horrible. Hey, mere saath ye kyun hua? And my women see their children as baggage. And, they go through all those melodramas and society kya kahegi. And, in those days, especially kalank hai, and, it's stigma and all of that. And you can just liberate yourself and liberate your mind and just say, thank you. Thank you for the 12 amazing years. Thank you for those beautiful memories. But if it's not going to be, I don't want to be miserable for 50 years of my life because I was happy for 12. And so thank you, and let's part really on good terms, because the kids are important. And, we owe it to them more than anything else. And you are a lovely person, because if you weren't, what the hell was I doing with you for 12 years in the first place? Why did I marry you? So, so you have to see things with a different lens. And you have to challenge convention and challenge the way people tell you to think. Because in doing that, you liberate yourself to having a really fulfilling life, free of tragedy, free of victimhood, free of self-doubt, free of fear, and all of that. It's all up here in our minds.
Wow. Absolutely wow. I mean, you put everything in a nutshell. And this whole philosophy of being the best version, whichever version you choose, I think that all of us resonate with here, and we all strive to do it every day, day in and day out, and sometimes we are successful, sometimes we are not, but I don't think we should flay ourselves if we are not. there's always a possibility that we will emerge on top. Thank you for that. And on the point of your mother, of course, she was very bohemian. She had her own mind. At 40 plus, she went and set up Nrityagram, right, in Bangalore, a place that is so hallowed, so worshipped even today. And so this would have been a household of very strong influences with your father, Kabir Bedi, with your grandparents also, very, very illustrious grandparents. So which parts of their personalities shaped your personality?
Okay, so I think lineage and DNA has a lot to say for itself. If you go back, I'm Guru Nanak Ji's 18th direct descendant. There's a lot of DNA there, and I believe a lot in what the DNA sends down the generations. My grandfather, my father's father, was a spiritual healer. He healed thousands and thousands and thousands of people in Italy. He has an institute there set up. He's no more, but the institute carries on his work. It's just above Venice and Cittadella. And he's, and as a child growing up, I would see him, no, I'm okay, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm okay. Carry on. Okay, thank you. So I grew up watching my grandfather heal people and very confused about it because I had a very logical questioning mind that refused to believe how is it possible. But the fact is people were coming in with kidney stones and a month later, they had no kidney stones. Somebody came with cancer with 6 months to live. 40 years later, she's running his institute. You know, things baffled me about this world of energy and sciences. My grandmother was an English lady. She met my grandfather at Oxford, and she came back and fought the freedom struggle in India against the British, being British herself. She was inducted by Mahatma Gandhi. She went to jail. And then after the freedoms, after we won our independence, she basically took on all the Tibetan refugees that had come down under His Holiness the 16th Karmapa and trained them, taught them English, and she became one of the highest ordained Buddhist nuns. There are 3 books written on her incredible life by English authors. Vicky McKenzie, Andrew Whitehead, and there's one more author who's written these books on her incredible social, political, spiritual journey. So that's there, all the Buddhism, and she was, the Buddhism aspects came into her life. My mother, of course, everyone knows, is totally into spirituality and Osho and Jung and Freud and all these incredible concepts of the divinity and women power and goddess energy and through her dance and all of that. So I grew up with all these amazing influences around me. My mother and grandmother were very strong symbols for empowerment in India because they led life on their own terms. And they truly believed in their journey. My mother more so than anybody else. I remember there was a time where I came home from school and I was really upset because my friend said, my mummy said, your mummy is so shocking because she had streaked naked on the beach. Okay, and so I said, Mama, why are you so shocking? So I was pretty small, must have been 6, 7, 8 years old. So she says, could you define what you mean by shocking? I said, shocking, Mama, you're shocking. Why are you shocking? She said, what is shocking? I said, shocking is shocking. A 7-year-old kid doesn't know how to explain it. She says, no, let me explain this to you. She says, there's a woman in Saudi Arabia who cannot show her wrist without being flogged. She looks at the most conservative Indian woman and says, my God, her face is covered, but she's cooking on the stove and her hand is showing the whole, everyone can see her hands. The woman says, hello, what's so shocking about that? My face is covered, I'm wearing a parda. Shocking are the women who have uncovered their faces and showing their bloody faces to the whole world. That is so shocking. The woman with the uncovered face says, so what if I'm uncovered on my face? At least I'm wearing my traditional attire. Shocking are those girls who go around wearing jeans and pants. The girl who's wearing jean pant and says, hello, what's so shocking about me? I'm fully clothed, this, that, and the other. Shocking are those girls who wear mini skirts and show the actual flesh. The girl in the mini skirt says, how am I shocking? Shocking are like girls who wear those bikinis and they're wearing just tiny things, hiding their private parts. That's shocking. And the girl in the bikini says, hello, how am I shocking? At least I'm covering. Look at Pratima Bedi. She's streaked nude on the beach. Everything is fully visible. She says, now it's come a full circle back to me. And she says, ask me, what do I think is shocking? So I said, Mama, what do you think is shocking? And she said, I think that woman in Saudi Arabia who's whipped for showing a little bit of her wrist, I think that is shocking. So she said, let's not sit in judgment. let's not sit in judgment of each other. It occupies our lives, it occupies our time, it occupies us to be divisive, to have borders, to say I'm better or I'm this or I'm that. She says, just delimit yourself. So my entire journey has been about emancipating women from a patriarchal society. And yet on the other hand, if you are aware, about 5 years ago, I started a Men Too movement because my friend Karan Oberoi was trapped in a fake rape case, right? And for me, that was equally disastrous and distraughtful, because here were we fighting as strong women to have laws in place to empower women who were victims. And when you have women going out there and misusing the law against men, the same laws that were meant to protect women, casting aspersions on these amazing laws because of the misuse, diluting the power and strength and validity and need for that law, to me that was equally distraughtful. So I went out there with the Men Too movement. He's still in courts, he's still going through the entire cycle. And for me, the process of empowerment isn't to disempower men. You don't become a better woman by putting a man down. Each one has to coexist beautifully on this planet because we're all equals. And our idea should never be to be a better man. And most women I see, they want to dress like men, talk like men, beat the glass ceiling, get that male space in. And I think it's so sad, because our greatest strength is in being women. Our greatest strength is our femininity. Our greatest inner qualities, if you see all the goddesses, for example, they had this incredible inner power, radiance, nurturing, multitasking, care, courage, and all of that. And those are our innate qualities as women. And those are the things we need to focus on. We are amazing. We don't need to compete. We simply need to be.
I think we are all momentarily stunned at that, at the depth of that statement, So yes, from leading roles in films to that very controversial Kama Sutra campaign, to theater, to TV shows, and then reinventing yourself as a wellness evangelist, and now you're an entrepreneur in the wellness space. You have recrafted your career in so many different ways. What motivates you to keep going and to keep adapting and evolving every time?
Okay, so I was at the FICCI chapter in Ahmedabad last month. And I was speaking on stage, and after the session got over, there was a sort of Q&A, and people were asking me questions. And this one girl got up and said, there is such a perception when it comes to celebrity. And sometimes we just say, oh, celebrities are dumb. And we like to just say that because it makes us feel good, and they're all beautiful, and they're all dumb. And she says, we compartmentalize. And she said, how do you deal with the fact that people have these opinions of you, which may not be true? And I turned around and I said, all of it is true. And I said, it's like the story of the blind men and the elephant. One touches the side and says it's a wall. One touches the leg and says it's a tree trunk. One touches the trunk of the elephant and says it's a snake. One touches the tail and says it's a rope. It's an elephant. You can think what you think about the elephant. The elephant is not going to change. The elephant will stay an elephant. It doesn't matter to me what people think about me, because I am the elephant. Right? You may see this aspect of me. Somebody may see me as the most incredible mother. Somebody may see me as this diehard woman liber. Some people may see me as a dumb celebrity. Somebody may see me as a business person, an evangelist, an entrepreneur, or whatever. It doesn't change who I am, the essence of who I am. These are the roles I've chosen to take on. These are the things I've chosen to do in my life. These are the journeys I've chosen to take. And I've done it with full spirit because it matters to me. It may not matter to others. It may be entertainment for others. My mother would walk into rooms, I remember, you're talking 30, 40 years ago, and she loved to shock people. Okay, she would go in there with this agenda of shaking things up, because people back then were very conservative. Okay, and she would walk in and crack dirty jokes and say all sorts of things, all the non-vet jokes, as they used to call them back then. And I was saying, Mama, what was it? I mean, you see the look on their faces. They used to all laugh a lot. And she says, darling, can you imagine how boring their lives are? I've given them so much to talk about for the next 1 week. Okay, so it didn't matter to her what people thought, right? So the same way, for me, life has led me, and I'm innately curious and passionate. I'm so curious, and I wonder why we lose that, as we grow older. You see a child, You say, want to do this? Yeah, let's go do this. You want to go there? Yeah, let's go do that. Excited, right? Give them a present, they'll rip it open. You know, let's do this. And as teenagers, they want to change the world and they want to do things and they want to, you know, make a difference and all of that. And then you see these old people. जा रहा है, जाने दो. चल रहा है, कुछ बदलने वाला नहीं है. And you're like, when did that turn into that? Because we all were there. We were all those passionate, curious, crazy kids. We were all those crazy teenagers that wanted to change the world. We were all those to-be parents that had dreams and aspirations and something ticked inside us. So what died and why did we let it? Right? So for me, it's the same thing. I turn around and say, I never want to lose my inner child. I never, ever want to lose my inner child. For me, life is too short and too beautiful. We're born and we die. And we have a tiny journey in between called life. Very tiny journey. No one's here forever. No one is staying on this planet forever. We're all going to go. One way or another, it's only how you go, right? And in this little journey that you have, what are you doing with yourself? A lot of people, as they grow older, they say, I'm getting into spirituality. Like with this air of superiority, like they're now superior because they're spiritual. Okay. Firstly, the whole purpose of being spiritual is that you don't have ego attached to it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I always say, we're not human beings heading for a spiritual existence. We are spiritual beings who've come here for a human experience. We've come into these bodies and we'll go right back into our spiritual realms. We are spiritual beings. We've come here to be human, and we're going to go back to being spiritual beings again. Whether we like it or not, that's going to be a reality. So, while you've chosen to come here, and trust me, when you do the courses that I do and study what I've studied in the alternate realms and different dimensions, and you go to the past lives and you'll see stuff, you have chosen to be here. You have chosen to come here in this specific body, in this specific space, to this specific family, and all your karmic connections that have come in, namely your husband, your children, people who come into your life, do some dramatic shift and change and disappear, have all come for a specific purpose. You need to figure out what that is. And it's beyond the journey of saying, I'm born, and I go to school, and then I get to graduate, and then I get to get a job, and then I get to get married, and then I get to have kids, and then I get to be a grandparent, and then I retire, and then I die. No, that's a very linear, myopic view of what you are here for. You are way beyond just a linear cycle created by man, created by society to create a certain order in life and systems. There is a reason you are here, a human journey, an energetic journey. Says something you need to learn, something you need to do, something you need to achieve, something you need to change. What is that? That is what you need to discover during the course. Everything you say, it happened to me again and again, and life is like this and life is that. It's happening for a reason. If you see such same patterns repeating, it's trying to tell you something. And you have to learn to listen to your intuition, listen to the high consciousness. It's always sending you signs, but you're not listening because you're so carried away in what you think you should do rather than what you actually should be doing and getting on with the actual business of living. A lot of us just exist. We just go through the motions, go through the day, do the job, this is my role, this is my life, and we're just existing. And what you need to do is live, not exist. My friend Karan Oberoi said, POOJA, when we die, we go into rigor mortis, right? Our bodies become stiff and we go into rigor mortis. The entire journey from birth to death is the process of rigor mortis. Our bones start getting stiffer, our backs start getting stiffer, our thoughts start getting stiffer. We just become stiff. And then we die and become the stiffest we could ever be. And the whole purpose of life is to keep yourself buoyant, supple, active, agile, alive, passionate, curious, learning, growing, sharing, caring, all of these incredible qualities that we all possess as women, right?
So I remember what Pablo Picasso said. Of course, I can't quote him verbatim, but he said, curiosity is the art of keeping the child in you alive.
Absolutely.
And you just said it. from that very superior realm, I want to bring you down to a very practical aspect, which is your new venture called Happy Soul, which is championing the goodness of nature itself. So, what is your definition of wellness, and how does it percolate into your brand, and into how do you make sure that anybody who picks up something from your brand is also feeling that kind of a vibe that you want them to feel?
All right, so my brand is Happy Soul. My company is Magicians of Wellness. And what I'm aspiring to do for people, individuals, societies, communities, environment, etc., is holistic. And when I say holistic, I mean I don't look at wellness as something physical only. It's to do with your mind, mental wellness, emotional wellness, financial wellness, sexual wellness, social wellness. There are so many different environmental wellness. There's so many aspects of wellness which are all directly connected to us. If the air you're breathing is polluted, you're not going to be well. If your thoughts are not positive, you're not going to be well. If your finances are not in place, it'll affect your thoughts, you're not going to be well. There are the most over the last 20 odd years of my doing these different sciences and studying them and having the most incredible revelations and experiences while doing these amazing alternative sciences, I suddenly realized what incredible strength and power we have in that. And so many people are suffering and they want to change their life. They just don't know how. They want to make a difference, whether it's their personal life, whether it's their professional life, whether it's their physical space. They want a difference. But kaise? कहाँ जाऊँ, किसे बात करूँ, क्या, how will I take this journey forward? So Happy Soul is this aggregator portal where we intend to, it's going to launch next month, where we intend to basically put together products that are great for you, great for the environment, great for the chemical free, the sulfate free, paraben free, sustainable. It could be home decor products, it could be body care products, it could be just, I mean, it's like an Amazon, but wellness-based. We also have service providers. You want to have a Reiki master in your city, you want to know who can I go to in my city that is a yoga teacher, a fitness Pilates person, an energy healer, tarot reader, anything in alternative sciences. And once you start exploring all these alternative sciences, including crystal healing, you realize the power and magnitude of every single one of these that actually impact your life and what it can do. So there's information, there's blogs, there's recipes, there's travel, there's so much happening on that site to help people understand what to do, what it's all about, and where to access it, right? So that's been my labor of love, which is Happy Soul. And I'm just waiting to put it out there for everyone because I want to make the world a better place. When we look around us, we know what the problems are. We know that these are issues A, B, C, D, E, right? But what are the solutions? We know there's corruption, but we'll still go and bribe the cop, right? That's not the solution. The solution is when you actually stand up and say, I will not, I'll pay my fine. That's the solution. So are you part of the problem? Are you part of the solution? These are questions you must always ask yourself, because you can make a difference. It is the power of one. I go out there and I try to affect large sections of people, right? If I come here, for example, in some way I'll try to empower your mindset. I'll try to change your life in some dramatic way. And it's happened every time I go to some place. Some of the others had some life-changing experience because they suddenly see their lives differently. They suddenly see why they're here differently. They see how they can respond to an ex differently. There is, everybody learns something along the way. And in some way that little shift changes everything in their life, right? And these are the things that we all have the capacity to do. And we all have this capacity as one person, one island, to create this ripple effect of change around us. So if I impact one life through my platform, I've actually empowered the lives of their families, their communities, extending all the way outwards. And that's what I intend to do, because to me, that almost seems like a life purpose. I've been writing columns with the Times of India relationship column for the last 18 years. Right, it's a relationship column, empowering people, teaching them to think out of the box, irreverent things, relevant things, esoteric things, every aspect of what a relationship could possibly cover, right? And I realized along the way that every single thing that I've done in my life, although it may seem so varied, has actually led me to this point today and empowered exactly the journey I have today. And nothing has happened by chance or by coincidence. It has happened because each thing has led me to accumulate all of that, be all of that, and play all those roles so that I can be where I'm at today. Only if you have understood what it is to be a divorcee and have healthy relationships, can you preach it or talk about it and explain it and engage with it? Or being a parent, that you can talk about being a parent, right? Or for example, if you've been, if for example your mother's died at a young age like mine did, right? If you have, for example, been had a family member who's had a mental health problem, you can talk about it, right? It's more empathy than sympathy, right? And there's a big difference in empathy and sympathy. And that's what we look forward to bringing to the table through Happy Soul. And I really want to go out there and change lives. So any one of you who want to be a part of Happy Soul or engage with Happy Soul anyway, just write to us, get on the site, send some emails. We'd be so happy to have people, because our whole thing is based on feminine empowerment. Our entire thrust of Happy Soul is feminine empowerment through holistic wellness. That's the branding, because we truly believe, and it's feminine. Feminine doesn't mean women. Feminine means the feminine within you, which basically means all of us have the yin and the yang, the Shiv and the Shakti that are present within us, right? And every gender. It could be male, it could be female, it could be binary, non-binary, plus. They have so many genders now. There's asexual, agender, pangender. It's quite dizzying, actually. I'm still coming to terms with the woke movement, trying to understand that a bit better. I want to be sensitive to everyone. So the whole concept is feminine empowerment through holistic wellness, and that basically ignites nurturing, creativity, inclusivity, care, all the qualities that we see in the feminine aspect of life, to bring that to the forefront to create that change.
Thank you, and thank you for the offer. I think lots of our members here would be able to contribute to your Happy Soul, portal. And if you would be kind enough to, write to us. Absolutely. And tell us where we can write to you, I will pass it on to all those people who are present here today, and maybe all to our members also, because we have lots of entrepreneurs in this space especially. Okay. And
thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Now let's go back a little in time. The 2 phases of lockdown, they sapped the spirit of even the best of people. We were all running our own roller coasters, and each one feeling sorry for ourselves in various degrees. How did you stay buoyant through it all? Because I think that was the time when you really came into, yourself, your whole potential. And what personal mantras guided you through this very, very difficult phase that the entire world was going through? And like I said, you became supremely energetic, you became supremely creative during that time. So can you tell us about that?
Okay, I want to know why everyone suffered the lockdown, firstly. Because I think when I look at it, people actually awakened. I think people suddenly, the word suffering comes because your routine is broken and because change is uncomfortable. And all of us fear and resist change in our lives. And I think lockdown awakened people. It made people realize the joy of doing nothing, of sitting at home and following a creative passion, of actually having time to think about what you want for yourself or to exercise. Indian women, if you see Indian women, were largely brought up on the guilt of do for others, don't do for yourself. Khud ka mat socho, dusro ka socho. And it's like an anthem from the time we were brought up. Somehow or the other, this sentence keeps coming to us. And we feel so damn guilty about doing anything for ourselves. And when I teach my courses and we go through the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the layers of programming and the seer programming, etc., it's like you will literally go, your subconscious mind is 6,000 times more powerful than your conscious mind. Okay, 6,000 times. So say you consciously say, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym. I want to go to the gym and I want to be fit. And you will actually go, and in your beta level state, you will go and you will go to the gym and you will pay the money for the gym and you'll go to that last degree, right? But every day you'll think of one reason why you can't go today and how you'll go from tomorrow. Or you won't go enough. You won't spend that time adequately in the gym because in your subconscious mind, you're becoming a bad person. Logically, you think you're doing something good. But your subconscious mind says you're bad because you're thinking of yourself, you're devoting this amount of time to yourself, and it's khudgarz, it's selfish, and you could be doing so much more for other people in this period of time. We don't even realize how insidious our subconscious programming is, right? Who are you? If I ask you, who are you? You'll say, I'm Reshma, I'm Priya, I'm POOJA, I'm so and so. But you are nothing but the sum total of your seer programming, S-E-E-R. S is your social programming. As you're growing up, you've been taught think like this, dress like this, behave like this, treat your elders like this, eat vegetarian, eat non-vegetarian, don't eat pork, don't eat beef, all your social programming, okay? Then there's your economic programming, which is your relationship with money. A lot of people have a very negative relationship with money, and that is the primary reason why no matter how hard you try, you won't be making the kind of money you want, deserve. Because in your subconscious programming is money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are bad people. Rich people are surrounded by fake friends. Sare rich people ke chamche hote hai. They're all greedy, they're all corrupt, they're all this, they're all that. And you hear this a lot as you're growing up. And sometimes when you ask yourself, I have a whole PowerPoint presentation I put out there with all the different statements and say, how many of you resonate with any of these statements? And so many hands keep going up in the audience, and that's your biggest block. And you are the only person that is blocking yourself. You are the only person that is limiting your own self by having these stupid belief systems plugged into your subconscious mind, and you just need to break out of that, and everything changes. When I teach my manifestation courses, for example, it's life-changing because you realize you created your own blocks and you can clear them because you created it. And it's as simple as that. It could be an emotional block, it could be a financial block, it could be on any level, a professional block. You know, it's like, I'll give you an example. It's like, say you're a small child, and from childhood, your parent tells you, "Arey, so stupid, be like your brother, be like your sister, see so much better, look at that girl, look at this person." You go to school. In school, the teacher says, "Oi, get marks like her, no, she's so good." So in childhood, you think, "I'm not good enough, somebody's better." You go to school, "I'm not good enough, see so-and-so so much better." You grow a little bigger, you like somebody, you get rejected. "I'm not good enough," right? You grow a little bigger, you want a job, you don't get selected. "I'm not good enough." Or you get the job, you don't get the promotion. "I'm not good enough." Seed started when you were a tiny kid, with a parent telling you, be like your sibling, or be like so-and-so. It's amplified now over this period of time. It has become your subconscious belief that you are not good enough. Now you believe you're going to go out there and conquer the world and do this and do that, and you have your little cute vision built, but your subconscious mind says, "I'm not good enough." So when the actual opportunity presents itself, it could be an amazing man that you meet, or a great business associate that you want to connect with. But somewhere inside you're like, "Nee, yaar, I can't. I'm not good enough. Not for that. I can't just support Bill Gates. I'm not good enough. I can't go here. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough." And that is your limitation, because something or the other will constantly block you from actually going out there and taking that chance and going out there and making that connection, which could very well change your life. Or something will happen energetically, because energy is so powerful. And you will go out there and something will happen to you'll either be late for that meeting, or something will go wrong with reaching that particular destination. Like, shit, it was just there, I don't know what happened and why it didn't happen. It's all your own energetic blocks. And the moment you learn about energy, and your subconscious programming and your subconscious mind, you realize how incredibly powerful it is. I have so many examples of manifestation, especially with me. It is unbelievable. When I saw The Secret, I actually looked at it and I started laughing, and I said, "My God, I've been living my life exactly like this. I learned from The Secret that I was doing it right. And therefore there must be a science to it." And then I went and explored the science and went and sort of understood what energy was, what electricity was, what magnetism was, how it fit into consciousness, how it fit into energy, and seamed it all together to make you understand in simple layman terms, because you can't, if I say, think of something and you manifest it, it sounds very woo-woo. But if I show you on a screen exactly scientifically how it is possible, you can't dispute it, because it's science, right? So just know, this is not a course, so I'm not showing you all of that, but each of you have that power within you to unlock your own limitations, social programming, economic programming, experiential programming, experiences, like I said earlier, that teach you what you can do, what you can't do, to trust. Somebody cheated on you, I don't trust people, you become a distrustful person. Your experiential programming teaches you so much and shapes you to being who you are, right? And then there's your religious programming. Your religious programming shapes again who you are. So you are nothing but the sum total of your SEER, social, economic, experiential, and religious programming. And that you have to see, is it working for you or is it not working for you? If it's working for you, great. If it's not working for you, it's just programming. Change it.
So I think my next question is almost answered here, but maybe we'll look for some specifics just out of curiosity. Okay. So life has not been a bed of roses for you. Like you explained that, you had to fend for yourself at an early age. Then You got married to somebody you really loved, and then 12 years later, it was not to be. And even in your personal, your career and your professional spheres, there were setbacks, like for any of us. And because it is you, because you're a public figure, it becomes all amplified and out there for all of us to consume and make our own judgments, you know. So how do you deal with all this? And what kind of mindset is that which allows you to crest each turbulent wave and emerge buoyant like this, the way you are?
Okay.
I would like a specific kind of, you know, just so that we understand what it takes to be you.
Okay, so there are various ways to answer that. In my courses, when I start, I always ask people, who wants to be happy? Raise your hand. Who wants to be happy? Yeah. Some people already said, I am already happy. My point is to all the people who say, I want to be happy. Why aren't you already happy? Because every single thing in your life today is a result of your choice. Everything, trust me, is your choice. The clothes you've chosen to put on your body, the husband you chose to marry, the children you chose to have, the napkins on your table that you chose to deck it up, the friend circle you surround yourself with to sign up for Ficky Flow. Everything is your choice. Some people say, it was not my choice to get married to this person. Huh? Yes, it was. You chose to let your parents choose for you. But how about babies? They just come. They don't just come. I've never seen someone get pregnant sitting in their house all by themselves. No, of course, you can choose to have the baby. Then it gets into your karmic connection of what it's here to teach you. So that's your relationship with your child will tell you what you're here to learn. And trust me, no one teaches you better than your kids. You give birth to them and oh my God, what a roller coaster it is after that. But yeah, but jokes aside, every single thing in our lives is our choice. It is of our choosing, and the moment we realize that and we take responsibility for where we are at today, everything changes. Okay? Shit happens to all of us. It's not exclusive to any one of us. None of us are, as I said, getting off the planet alive, and no one is going to be shit-free. So if I tell you that your story is everyone's story, how does that make you feel? Everyone here is going to go through the death of a parent. Everybody here is going to go through some form of heartbreak, financial issues, stress, conflict. It's not your story. It's everybody's story. But how you respond to it, that is your story. Getting divorced, how you respond to being divorced, how you react to it and what you make of it. Having children, do you just talk to your children or at your children? Big difference. I see a lot of parents say, "Arey, wo karo, aise, wo karo." You know, they're talking at their children, never to their child. There's a mindfulness when you speak to your child, when you're actually talking to them, not at them. Everything matters. Every tone matters, every word matters. The concept of mindfulness is so important in everything we do. I know a lot of people think, oh, you know, they're born to these famous rich families and, you know, they don't really know what struggle is and what conflict is. You know, I grew up in a family where my parents were divorced at age 5, where my father had this amazing life where, you know, he was international and he was staying in 5-star hotels and having the best of everything and buying glasses at $100 a stem. And my mother was a classical dancer. And she would travel by third-class train along with Zakir Hussain and Hariprasad Chaurasia and all of them, because back then, you know, classical dance and music wasn't really of that level appreciated and given the respect that it is given today. And earned very, very frugally, where to the extent that if we wasted tomato ketchup, there was a massive problem on the table because tomato ketchup was expensive, right? I didn't have a TV in my home till I was probably 18 or 16, you know. So it's a journey where I started earning money when I was 18 years old. You know, and there was a period in my life from the age of 27 to about 31, right? From about 27 to 31, where I lost everybody that was close to me. My grandmother died. My dog died. People who love dogs know what that is like, losing a pet. My grandmother died. My dog died. I lost my father figure, a man who had brought me up since I was 6 months old. So I was 6 months old to the time I was married, and I was about 28 at that time. So I lost my grandmother, I lost my dog, I lost my father figure, I lost my mother in a landslide, and I lost my brother to suicide, and I got divorced, and I had 2 kids somewhere along the way. Every 6 months, there was something dramatic happening in my life. And you can imagine what it's like losing a sibling, losing your parent, losing your father figure, losing a grandmother. Every support system around you is gone. And I never cried. I just turned around and said, all right, there's a lesson in this for me. I need to learn something from this, whether it's inner strength, whether it's to carry on, whether it's everything that I've ever been taught in my whole life about this being my journey and taking it forward. And I can sit there and look at the past and cry about the past and be in pain and play the victim. And I very well could have played the victim. I could have very well said, why me and what has happened? And when I got divorced, by the way, not 1 rupee from my ex-husband, not even 6 months of an electricity bill, all by myself, starting from scratch with 2 children. And I just looked at the universe and said, help me, help others. That's it. Help me, help others. And within 1 year, I was driving the same Mercedes car as my ex-husband. I went out there, and in about 2 years from then, he asked me for a loan to expand his business. Right? which I gave him. Okay, and I said, are you crazy? You're giving him 75 lakhs, and why are you giving him all this money? He didn't give you in 6 months of electricity. And I said, the more he earns, the more my kids will inherit. It's as simple as that. So it's again how you look at it. Do you want to be consumed with vengeance and anger and pain and sadness? Or do you turn around and say, hey, so whatever happened has happened. How do I take my journey from here? What am I going to do with my life? How am I going to empower myself? How can I make the world a better place? I can handle it a certain way. I've dealt with all the shit that's been thrown at me, and I can do it a certain way. Well, I can teach others to do it the same as well. I can help empower others. I can help shape lives, because the more fractured people are, the more fractured society is. And the more we can help enable, strengthen people, we're strengthening every single fabric in our society, right? And we need that. Right? So I set it upon myself through every tragedy to make myself better and better and stronger and stronger. And that is something I would really like to impart to all of you. It doesn't matter what happens in your life. What only matters is how you respond to the shit that's thrown your way. That is your greatest learning in this journey of life.
So POOJA, like you just told us, you've played so many roles in your life, right? Yeah. You have gained people, along your path through life. You have lost people to life. But amongst this whole journey, you have played so many roles. Which of these was the most fulfilling and which was the most challenging?
Okay, let me ask you guys this question. I don't know if you heard this. Those who have, don't say. Okay, so say I go to a coffee shop. Okay, say I go to a coffee shop, and I ask the guy to give me a really piping hot cup of coffee. And he puts it in this takeaway thing for me, and it's really, really hot. And he puts the lid on, but he doesn't put it very tightly. It's kind of half on, half off. And I'm carrying this very hot cup of coffee in my hand very gingerly because it's so hot and the lid is kind of wobbling. And as I'm trying to walk out of the door of the coffee shop, somebody walks into the coffee shop and my cup of coffee spills, right? So why did my coffee spill? Because? Okay. And? Huh? Coffee very very esoteric. We've gone to the words beyond. Dane dane pe likha hai khane wale ka naam. Also true. Now we've explored every psychological aspect of why this has happened, right? Coffee spilled because there was coffee in the cup. If there was orange juice would have spilled out of the cup. Okay? The lesson here is, what is in your cup because that is what will come out of you when you are shaken up. What is in your cup? Okay? So, for me, my toughest role, coming back to the question, for me, my toughest role has been self-work. What is in my cup? Self-work, because whatever I do for myself, this is my most challenging role, is being me. My most challenging role is overcoming every single shit that's thrown out of me and taking it to positive conclusion. And it continuously happens. There are work challenges, there's work stress, there's employee stress, there's HR stress, there's God, what all that goes on in an entrepreneur's life. I know the entrepreneurs here are fully aware. You know, what is in my cup? Who am I? My relationship with myself is the most important relationship, because if I am happy, I can spread happiness. If my well is full, I can share with others. If I'm not happy, how can I share happiness? If I'm being negative, how can I share positivity? You know, I have a lot of people in my workshops who turn around and say, I stay away from negative people. You know, keep the negative people far away. Just surround yourself with positive people and positive vibes and positive this and positive that. And I'm like, who is a negative person? A negative person is somebody who is suffering. That's why they're negative, right? So if you cast aside a negative person and you shun a negative person, you are amplifying their misery. What makes you think that coming to a negative person means that their negativity will rub off onto you? Why are you not thinking that your positivity will rub off onto them? Why have you given that power to the concept of negativity affecting you? Who said you were not powerful enough to change that space for them? That is where you go into your sense of self-confidence, self-belief, and the ability to know you can create that impact no matter where you go. I walk into any space, in any room. Either if I see the energy is bad in the room, I'll put a golden bubble, I'll create violet light, I'll do all of that. Or I'll simply walk into a space and there's a negative person, I'll think, 10 ways to put a smile on this person's face. Let's figure it out. You know, and it works. And, you know, it's like randomly. It's like, you know, it's like a challenge I give you all. Every day, give 2 genuine compliments to somebody. You know, 2 compliments. And see how life changes. Because what happens is you start changing the lens in which you view the world. So say, for example, I ask you right now, find something bad about this person. In 1 minute you say, अरे उसके जूते इसके मैचिंग नहीं है, उसके तो ये है, उसके तो लिपस्टिक कलर ठीक नहीं है, उसका तो कुछ ये वो. In 1 second you'll be able to find. If I say, look at the person next to you and give them a genuine compliment, it'll take you time to think about what you really like about them and to be able to convey that. The difficulty you have in that versus the ease of negating and being you know, critical of something, it's instant. So you have to train yourself to start thinking with a positive lens. Train yourself, okay? And if you randomly, like I walk up to somebody and I walking past and I see somebody's nice t-shirt and I'll say, what a beautiful t-shirt. And the person doesn't know me from Adam, they're like, oh, thank you. You can see the smile on their face. Or I'll tell somebody they have beautiful eyes, you know? Or because they genuinely do and it lights up. There's so much happiness in someone's face, or they have a beautiful smile, or, you know, they have a lovely posture, or just anything random. And when you are able to see good in everything and convey that and communicate that, you have changed something in that person's energy cycle for even those few seconds that has led to a series of positive change physiologically within that person and therefore mentally for that person. Can you imagine what you're doing by simple words? Just simple words. I'm sitting here today with simple words. I'm just giving you all simple words. And something somewhere is being sown. Maybe 1% of what I say will go home with you. But that 1% somewhere will impact you. And somewhere down, maybe 3 months later, you'll think of a quote and say, hey, she can do it, I can do it. And why don't I try that? Or let me do something differently. Let me change my programming. Oh, I'm aware this is coming from my programming. How do I undo my programming? Each thing makes a difference. It's the power of words. It's so bloody powerful. So watch what you say, because it really can have a lasting impression, good and bad.
I think at Fiki Flow, one thing we can say is we all have our bags. And so many people walked in and each one was complimenting each other. So big applause for ourselves. I think we are all just there open, and I just love the energy, the spirit that we bring into, you know, when we meet into the room. Yeah. It is just so beautiful. You've been to Fiki Flow forums before, and tell me what's your impression of us?
Well, as I said, no one person is the same and no group is the same. The dynamics vary, the demographics vary. But what's wonderful to me always is to see how women come together as a group, as a bond, to help support, to nurture, to empower, to encourage, to share, to learn. Very importantly, learning is so important. Last year I did a course at the IIM in Bangalore. It changed my life forever. You know, knowledge is everything. All the courses I've done, all the energy work I've done, knowledge is truly power. And anything that you get from a forum like this, a FICCI forum, I was watching your presentation earlier of what you've done in the past 1 month. It's so commendable. You know, the kind of networking, the kind of resources, the kind of influences, the kind of learnings, the kind of opportunities that are therefore available for everyone here. I think it's absolutely remarkable.
Thank you. So many positives for all of us. So now, I will conclude because I know lots of them have lots of questions for you. I just want you to, give us in a nutshell what you think about this title.
Well, I think the most important thing is to be aware of your limitations. That's the first thing. If you're not aware that you're fractured, if you're not aware that there's a problem, how will you even go out there to find a solution, right? So first is to really sit with yourself and ask yourself, what is really hurting me? What are the patterns I can't seem to unblock? What are the issues that I'm constantly facing that in some aspect of my life make me discontent? Because dis-ease, you're not at ease, right? So what part of you is not at ease will create disease in the future. Okay, if you go to Louise Hay, it's very specific. Every specific thought leads to a specific emotion, which leads to a very specific physical condition. So it's very important for you to understand the journey of you. Where are those blocks? Find them. And once you find them, find every way possible to release it, because you don't deserve to live with it. You don't need to live with it. And when you free yourself of these blocks, you've not just freed yourself, you freed everyone around you who's hurting because of your reaction to those blocks. Right? It's as simple as that. So just know you are limitless. And when you do energy work, you realize how limitless you are beyond the body, beyond dimensions. We are so limitless beyond our greatest capacity to believe. And yet we are in these bodies with our lives that we feel need to go a certain way, in a certain format, as told to us by society or dictate to us by our parents, and this is how it must be. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be your story. Your story can be your story, not what someone else is scripting for you. You can have your own very beautiful story, one story that you deserve, and it's never too late. That's another thing. It doesn't matter what age and stage you are. Doesn't mean that, oh, abhi to shaadi ho gayi hai, bacche ho gayi hai, old age bhi ho gaya hai, to abhi kya? There's always hope. There's always options. I know right now, for example, we've just heard about Malaika Arora's father, passing away. It's speculated that it's suicide. And you realize that at 75, around that age, it's so hard to think of somebody at that age and stage feeling hopeless in life. Right? Or feeling that life has no purpose or meaning anymore, whereas life is so incredible and amazing. And whatever it is that's hurting you, learn to share, learn to express, learn to grow, learn to nurture your own soul. And if you can't do it by yourself, don't feel scared to go out there and ask for help. There are professionals out there, there are amazing courses out there, and books out there, where you can just shape your mind, shape your journey, shape your realities. You are so limitless, and whatever it takes to help you unbreak that concept of limitation within you, just go out there and find it. Because life is too beautiful to be wasted. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Just one last question from me. I always think of myself as this very practical person with no room for, the more philosophical aspect of life, because I think I'm not ready for it or I'm not prepared for it. But you've made a convert out of me. So I want to understand which is that one book that you would recommend for beginners like me who want to think about the other plane of ourselves, the other side of ourselves.
It really depends again. What are you looking for? Because each self-help book is so specific to what it's seeking to do for you. I mean, you could read Alchemist, Paulo Coelho's book. You could read Brian Weiss, which talks about past lives, and you understand why past lives have led you to this very point. It really depends on what you're looking to explore within you. The monk who sold his Ferrari, there are so many books out there. Deepak Chopra with his incredible quantum physics and, his knowledge of worlds beyond. You could read books on NLP that teach you about the science of your brain and why it thinks the way it does. It really depends on what you're looking for. What you're seeking to achieve within yourself and for your life. That's what I'm saying, find your block first. Find your block, understand what your block is, and then work at releasing that block. Not, I'm going to go into philosophy, or I'm going to go into spirituality, or I'm going to go into, self-help, but it's so specific. It's like you can't just say, what can I do to cure a disease? Which disease do you have? Do you have cancer? Do you have a headache? Do you have a tumor? Do you have, diabetes? So depending on the disease, you will create a certain ecosystem, whether it's through medication or whether it's through exercise or diet, to deal with that specific disease. It's the same with our emotional spaces. So,
But if I don't know at all?
That's what I'm saying. You have to sit down with yourself. If you don't have a problem, don't fix it.
Right? Okay, then I'm the best.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, and I will request Sujita to take the question answer session forward. It was incredible, Pooja. Really.
Thank you, Ms. Pooja, for sharing your invaluable perspectives on transforming limitations into liberation. Your message serves as a powerful reminder of the strength within us to break free from constraints and realize our full potential. The floor is now open for question and answers. Please keep the questions crisp and only one.
Hi, Pooja. This is Neetu. So my question to the most resilient and age-defying Pooja BEDI is, how do you approach the idea of aging? And what practices do you use to cultivate positive and empowered relationship with your own aging process? I mean, knowing you, you are so much inclined towards spirituality. I have my doubt it's not cosmetic.
So, when somebody asked my mother her age, she said, could you please be specific? She says, if you talk about spiritually, I'm thousands of years old. Okay? She says, if you ask how I'm mentally, I'm in my 60s or 70s. Right? How am I emotionally? Oh, I'm probably 16. Okay? And she says, and where am I physically? Somewhere between 1 and 100, how does it matter? Okay? It's a question of what is aging within you, right? Are you bothered about your external aging? Are you bothered about your internal aging? Are you bothered about your, your spirit aging, your soul aging? Some things age well, some things age badly, okay? So, to me, the outside actually represents the inside. Okay, because you see people, see their face, they're little crumpled types now. You kind of know what must be going through their mind every single day for their face to be set also in that specific manner, right? And you see people are generally really happy in life, and you see the happiness on their face, and the laugh lines are there, and it's a happy laugh line and a happy space. And of course, we must take good care of ourselves. And of course, we all use products. I love coconut oil. Coconut oil is my go-to mantra for like everything. I put coconut oil on my belly button at night. I put coconut oil on my face. I'll have a spoon of coconut oil in the morning. Extra virgin, please. There's nothing virgin about me, but so I mean, it's different strokes for different folks. And I must say, I have also done Botox. That also does work very well. And I was the brand ambassador for Kaya for their Botox in 2004, I think, somewhere there, which is almost like 20 years ago. Right? So 20 years ago, they had this whole anti-aging campaign because people at that point weren't talking about doing Botox and weren't talking. It was very secret, like, I'll do it, but I won't tell. I'm naturally beautiful. And maybe cherry with the crinkles aate nahi hai, that sort of thing. And I had a genetic condition where my forehead had these 3 very deep lines on it, very, very deep lines. And my father had it, my brother has it, everyone has these 3 very deep lines. He said, oh, it's a sign of spiritual intelligence. And they told, as I saw very well, it doesn't look good on screen. So, so for more screen reasons than anything else, I used to go into Botox and all of that. But over time, I think it just dulls. And, I think that coconut oil and all these other things, also being a Happy Soul as a company, I get flooded with all these gifts, samples that come from everyone. So every day I'm trying on 3-4 different products. Very happily. Yeah. But I have to say, it is a combination of both the pharma world as well as holistic wellness and all the wonderful products that we have access to. It is a combination of both from time to time, as and when is required.
Hi. First of all, you look lovely today. I love how your kaftan falls on you so effortlessly.
Thank you.
So my question is...
She's given a first compliment.
So my question to you is, you've spoken about energy blockages, right? So there are a lot of modalities where energy blockages could be released. What do you think, which modality do you think is the most effective and more instant? I would say, like, there's Reiki, there's there's healing in terms with crystals and EFT and tapping and a lot of things.
Right.
So which one do you think is
again, that depends. So say, for example, if you're talking about tapping, it's generally got to do with if you have anxiety and you feel the anxiety is building up in your body, or if you have a headache and things like that, that's when you largely use tapping, because it's pretty instant at that point of time to let go, of what's happening, because by what you're affirming each time you tap, the points at which you tap, it's very powerful. But if you're looking at releasing a foreign entity, okay, like if you're looking at a spirit release, now 60% of the world's population has has entity possession, and they don't even know it, right? So say, for example, if I know it sounds really weird if I'm saying that. You're like, what? Yeah, so they say, how do you know if you have an entity within you? Well, how many times you said, I don't know why I did that, that's just not me. And I don't know, it's just so unlike me to have done that. Well, then who did it? Okay, or say, for example, if you have suicidal thoughts, they say generally suicidal thoughts are caused when you have an entity within that wants to escape and go beyond the bardo and is using you as a channel to do so. So there are various ways to detect whether you have an entity within you, and for that, energy release work by a person who is skilled in that is really good. If you have emotional blocks within you,
yes,
emotional energy blocks, nothing works better than hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is amazing. Yes, you can go to a psychologist and sit down there and week after week and do your sessions and do your release and talk about things and talk about things and talk about things. Or you can do in one session of hypnotherapy, go straight down to the root cause, understand why it happened, what happened, take out the negative charge that's associated with it that's holding on to your body, convert it to a positive charge, and you're done with it.
Is it more like the past life regression?
Passive regression is also amazing. Passive regression, if you brought anything into this lifetime, then that's relevant. If you haven't brought anything into this lifetime, then it's really of no consequence.
So does
like fears and phobias, for example. Fear is created in this lifetime. If you got bitten by a dog in this lifetime and you are scared of dogs in this lifetime, it's a fear. It's valid, it happened in this lifetime. But say, for example, you're terrified of a crow, and every time you see a crow or a butterfly, you run like mad, and you can't understand where this has come from. Or say, for example, you're terrified of water. Okay, this happened with me. I had a client who was terrified of water, okay, and she couldn't get into a pool which is even like knee-deep, a pool which is knee-deep. She was absolutely terrified, okay, and one of the sessions I did with her for something else, it was a more relationship issue, but we went back to her past life where she was at the river bank, and it was a long story, but basically we discovered that was the point where her water phobia in this lifetime has come in from. So we released that and did all of that. 2 months later, her husband calls me and says, "Pooja, what the hell?" So I said, "What?" He said, "I didn't believe in any of the stuff that you're doing." And I thought, like, God knows what all they're up to, etc. He said, "We went to Goa, and my wife was in the water, in the ocean, okay, waist deep, having a blast." He said, I asked my wife, "Aren't you scared of water?" And she looks at me and says, "Oh, yeah." And it's that powerful that you can release something that's been holding on to you as something that comes into your life from a past life. Things like that can be done away with very easily. Again, those are single session things.
Great. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, Pooja. Good to have you again, because I met you 12 years before in the Flow podium only in Hyderabad, 12 to 14 years. So I want to ask you about, you came when I was in the first committee of Young Flow. So that was around 15, 16 years back.
Wow. Okay.
So I want to ask you about your daughter, Alaya F. And I've actually seen her journey. She just did 2 films recently, Shrikant and Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. She was fantastic. How was it your positivity or you're giving her that space that she's groomed up so well? Is it your all the well-being?
I would love to take credit, but it's all her. I was a terrible actress. I showed my cleavage to distract people from the fact I was doing such a lousy job of acting.
But she is
She is a fabulous actress. She is amazing.
Acts excellent, actually. I loved her work. And I think it's your mothering only that helps her. And
I think mothering plays a great role in shaping their confidence, in
Yes.
giving them the ability to understand that there are no limitations and you can do whatever it is you choose to do and put your mind to, and you will be successful because you choose to do it. I think, again, that programming that we put into our children, you can, and it's possible, and I believe in you. And it's, I think that plays a very important role in shaping them to being who they are, and therefore what they vibrate at is what they attract. In fact, they say, don't focus on your fears, but focus on your dreams.
Yeah.
Because the more you focus on your fears, the more you'll magnetize your fears, and those will start coming into your life. And the more you focus only on your dreams, the more that starts entering your life. Again, there's a law of magnetism, the law of attraction, the law of manifestation, and all of that. And she is one of the most focused, one of the most disciplined. I mean, she will get up at 6 in the morning. She knows exactly what classes she's going for, what she's doing, how she's investing into her life, her classes. Nothing comes in the way, not her social life, not her love life, not her parents, nothing. She has a single-minded focus to what she does. And again, whatever she does 100% or she won't do it at all.
Please tell her she has a fan in me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Pooja. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, hi, Pooja. This is.
I'm just whispering and saying, can you get me a nice latte?
Oh, sure. So this is Navina, and I'm an eye surgeon. First of all, wonderful talk. You just kept us gripped to the whole talk. Wonderful talk it was.
Thank you.
And my question is, in the beginning of the talk, you said, we are here for a purpose on this earth. Like you said, yes, most of the people are just existing, not living. And we see that most of the people are successful, but still, they haven't found that purpose. So what is it? I mean, like, how do we find that purpose? And what makes us really happy and makes us feel like living on this earth? What is that purpose and how do we find it?
Okay, so when you look at life in a total sense, right, you've come down here for a reason. When you say you're successful, we're only talking about professional success, right? No one talks about personal success as he is successful or she's successful, right? You don't look at a marriage that's been there and say, oh, what successful people? You say, uska bank balance kya hai, kitne gaadi hai, what is his business turnover, what is this, our success. So firstly, we have a myopic view of what success is. Okay, and success is not a barometer for anything. Success is a means to an end, right? Money is amazing. I mean, normally people have like money blocks. Okay, if I say, for example, in my workshops, and I say money workshops, and we say, I love money. People are like, yeah, I love money. I'm like, no, say, I love money. And people get like, I love money. I'm like, no. Like, say it with emotion, like, I love, like, feel the love, like you want to eat money, sleep money, hug money, kiss money, like I love money. And people feel so uncomfortable saying that they love money, so uncomfortable. And then I'll say, okay, how much, if you wanted money, how much would you want? Like, if somebody had to give you money and say your business do, how much money? Like 1 crore, 2 crores, 10 crores, 15 crores, 50 crores, 100 crores. I said, okay, what if I give you $1 billion? No, I don't need $1 billion. That's the block. Why are you saying no to $1 billion? No, but I don't need it. I'm like, you don't need it, that's fine. You take your 10 crores and do charity with the rest. Start schools with the rest. Donate the rest. But why are you blocking it from coming into your life? What makes you believe you're not worthy of that? That you have no place for that. The moment you say that, you realize you have a block to abundance coming your way. So how to identify those blocks? That is the purpose. What is your block? Why have you created those blocks? When are you feeling truly alive? When do you feel alive? And a lot of women say, Ari, when my child smiles, I feel alive, I feel happy in that moment. Money doesn't buy happiness. These moments buy happiness, you know. And my point is, weren't you happy when you bought that amazing outfit or went on that fabulous holiday or when you were able to go out with your girlfriends for lunch? You know, didn't that make you happy? Yeah, but that happiness doesn't last, you know. Your child smiled, you felt happy. Did that happiness last? The next day also you were stressed about something, right? So nothing lasts. The happiness levels don't last irrespective. So let's not get into the I'm so noble, I'm so nice, my children matter the most on the planet. Everything matters. And you have to be brutal with yourself to say what actually makes me happy. Do I have a passion? Do I have a hobby? Do I have a reason to be here? And then don't feel like restless that I don't know, I'm feeling restless, I don't have a reason to be here, I don't have a purpose. No, we're all here with a very specific purpose. And you have to understand, is your lesson in life to learn to nurture? If your lesson was to learn courage, for example, in this lifetime, you'll be put into situations that will challenge you to enable you to learn courage. You'll be tossed with every single thing that will come at you to ensure you develop that courage, because that was your need and your learning in this lifetime. So you have to see what is constantly being thrown at you. Why are you in the space you are at, and what are the constant patterns you're facing? Do you have to learn acceptance or tolerance or love or nurturing? Or do you have to learn to combat? Do you have to learn courage? Do you need to learn to give? Do you have to learn to be selfless? Do you have to, what is the actual learning, you know? And that is the most important thing. People say, you know, oh, it's unconditional love. I said there's no such thing as unconditional love apart from with your dog, okay? It is the only thing in life. You whack it, also will come back wagging his tail and looking at you damn happy. Try giving your child a whack and see if they come back to you nicely. They sit and there's conditions attached to everything, right? We have conditions. We're all based on conditions. Our life is based on conditional love. Like it or not, no matter what we say. Okay, if somebody's going to treat you like crap, you're not going to love that person. There's nothing unconditional about it, right? So again, don't get into think of, you're here to have a human journey. It's not about the unconditional love. It's about the messy love, the sweaty love, the passionate love, the heartbreak love. It's about that. And it's about your journey from there, right? So ask yourself, what is it that you're not allowing yourself to experience? What is it you're not allowing yourself to have in your life that will truly bring you joy? If you can't find joy in anything around you or purpose or meaning, what have you blocked yourself from that could have given you that? And when you sit down and you actually sit in a mindful state, say, what really matters? Initially, you might just find nothing matters really. And it's okay, life is going the way it is, this is what matters. But the more you ask yourself that question every single day, what actually matters to me? What actually matters to me? What is the fundamental reason I'm here? What would I really like to do? Not a martyrdom, like I want to do for others, that's my noble calling. That's, you know, people feel good again, programming. Do for others, don't do for yourself. That's your programming speaking. It's not you speaking, right? So work with yourself. That's why when she asked me who was a great relationship, it's with me. It's constantly trying to understand me and my journey, and constantly challenging myself every step of the way. That, you know, break free of one more limitation, one more barrier, one more thought, one more process. The more you start channeling that, you're not sitting and asking me this question by chance. It's a reason that the mic was given to you, and the reason you've asked me this question is hall full of people. And that's a journey you will now start on. And now you will start questioning everything in your life and the reason you're here and what actually brings you fulfillment and joy. And the day you discover that, everything around you will dramatically change and be so beautiful.
One last question before we close the session.
I think you would like to sip. Your latte has come. You'd like to sip your latte?
Don't worry.
You've been talking constantly, so.
I can sip and talk. We can do questions till my latte lasts.
You're mind-blowing. You have stunned all of us, wonderful. And especially me, I have learned a lot. I have not heard so much about you, but I love the way you spoke. You're full of life and you're so positive.
Thank you.
So I want to just, it sounds odd, the society, the boys and the girls growing up in the generation, the atrocities having in the society around here, you know. So not exactly the Calcutta case, but so many such happening. So that kind of development and motivation should be imbibed in the future generation. What do you say on that?
I say that over the course of all of humanity's histories, there's been plundering, barbarism, mass rape, mass all of this, a patriarchal society where we were subjected to sati and dowry and all sorts of inhumanities, right? A lot has changed, and a lot continues to change. Women out there in the workplace, women out there being educated, women, women not having to stop schooling the moment they start their menstrual cycle, the glass ceiling being broken, women rising to great positions of power. I think the important thing is what I'm seeking to do through Happy Soul, which is basically the empowerment of the feminine principles, and evoking that and bringing that as a forefront into society to ignite that change. Because when people are filled with aggression and violence and anger and authority and domination, those are the male principles that we talk about, the male energy, right? So the more we go out there and promote the feminine energy, right, I think that will help shape society. When you tell people to be more aware, more mindful, more present, creative, passionate, purposeful, nurturing, inclusive, our whole society is based on divisions, right? You're Muslim, you're Hindu, you eat beef, you eat pork, you this, you're not my community, you're not my caste, you're not this, you're not that. The whole concept of division is what's driving humanity today, and that creates a lot of conflict. Imagine there was no religion and everyone was one. We wouldn't be fighting about these things. And the fact is there is no need to fight about these things. But the aggression and all, if we could learn to be more inclusive, more nurturing, more caring, more supportive, more into self-love, self-growth, self-awareness, self-care, right? Then things start changing around you. So we have to learn to start perpetuating that. At a certain, maybe 2 generations ago, the average Indian woman wasn't into self-love and self-care. They didn't go out on girl holidays, and they didn't have the sense of bonding where you could go out with the girls and hang out in a pub and do your own thing and have freedom, right? Today that is there because people have steadily worked towards it. In the same way, there's nothing that can happen overnight, but we can actively work towards making that change by nurturing those qualities within us and our families around us and inculcating these qualities within them to make them softer and gentler people that we send out. That means our kids. What are we teaching our kids? What are we teaching them? Not just ki, my son also knows how to cook, that's great, but what you're teaching him in terms of personality, how important it is to have respect and love, not ki respect karo. Not, but to actually have a reverence for love, or for nature, or for people, or for children, or for animals, or for, to nurture, to care, to integrate, to not be divisive. And how do you do that? You do that by not saying, no, Marwadi will marry Marwadi and Muslim will marry Muslim. You do that as a parent by saying, it's your choice. Who do you love? So those changes happen with us. And the more we promote division, the more division will perpetuate. And the more we promote inclusivity, the more inclusivity will perpetuate. So how are you, I said, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? So that's again a question you need to answer.
Hi, Pooja. You mentioned knowledge is power, and I wanted to ask, you've mentioned courses again throughout the thing. What would be one of the first courses or the initial courses that you've done? And did you have a guide through this journey of acquiring knowledge and learning?
So I've had the weirdest experiences, and these weird experiences have actually propelled me to keep doing more and more and more because it fascinated me. I tell you honestly, Priya, the kind of experience I've had is almost like you're on drugs. I've never touched a drug in my life. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. And I come from a very bohemian family who's probably tried everything possible. I was a black sheep of my family because I didn't. Okay? And, and I drink alcohol from time to time. That's okay. But my first experience, again, manifestation, I was getting divorced. I was sitting at home, 12th floor, in a penthouse, sitting there, and just somehow wanting to do this art of living course. Okay, it just came to me, I want to do this art of living course. I want to do the art. Somehow I just kept on going in my head. I want to do the art of living course. On the 12th floor of my penthouse, a flyer comes from under the door, right to where I'm sitting at the dining table, like whooshing in. Okay, and I pick it up, and it's the art of living course, which is happening 2 buildings down away from me. And I go and attend it. And the first day they were like having this, I belong to you, look into each other's eyes, I belong to you. And I kept saying, I don't belong to that person. I thank you. I'm very much me. He's he, I'm me, you know. And what is this? He belongs to very strange stuff. And, you know, going through all of that. And I was like, Pooja, you're here. Now go along with it, you know. Succumb to it. You're here, learn. You wanted to do this and it's arrived below your house. There's a reason for it. And then on day 2, they did the Sudarshan Kriya. And that for me was life-changing. What happened during that entire session when she said, shut your eyes, we'll blindfold you if you feel you're going to open your eyes. And it's very powerful, the soham, 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 soham breathing that goes on. You may feel that you've fallen asleep, keep a distance, your body may want to go back, your hands may lock. It may be painful, don't try to unlock it. I'm like, what are they talking about? You know? And so strange, my body went back, my wrists locked, it unlocked. When it unlocked, I don't know. But I just know when I came out of that session, I could not explain what I had experienced. I could not explain. And when I opened my eyes, we all opened our eyes, the teacher, the facilitator looked at us and said, I know exactly what's going through your head, and don't even bother trying to tell anybody because nobody will understand what you have experienced. I never went for a level 2, I never went for the level 3, nothing. But I started my journey after. Then I was on Facebook and I saw this hypnosis course. I thought, ooh, I'm going to learn to hypnotize people. I got very happy. So I went to joined this hypnosis course. And I realized it was not hypnosis, it was clinical hypnosis, which then takes you into your age regression, your patterns of childhood, breaking the subconscious mind, your conscious mind, and all the layers and levels, and seer programming, and all of that being explained so beautifully. And I did level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, went into spiritual hypnosis, went into the interlife, went into the past life, started doing energy work with Reiki, Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki 3, Usui, Karuna, magnified healings, shamanism. And each of these courses, I experienced things that were beyond me. And I suddenly realized how limited we are as human beings, that we sit here in our avatars as who we are, and we think that this is life. And we have access to so many dimensions beyond us. Each of us. It's not my story. It's everybody's story. It's not I have powers. Everybody has that ability to tune in. It's like right now, what is between you and me? Right now, what is there between you and me? What else? What else? What else? There's also about 500 TV stations and TV channels, and there's also got how many OTT platforms, and there's God knows how many radio stations also between us. You put one transistor box here to pick it up in 1 second. And seamlessly on one device, like a mobile phone, you will have, from where is it coming, this infinite stream of steady data. Not 1 minute of Star News will arrive on a Netflix, not 1 minute of a Sony will arrive on a Nickelodeon. Seamlessly, with color, with visuals, with audio, with everything, it'll download seamlessly into your phone. From where seamlessly, right? Because it has a frequency. Everything has a specific frequency. And just around us, everything is in a certain frequency that you can tap into. You may not be able to tap into the OTTs and all of those, but there are different frequencies and energies you can tap into as human beings. And you have to learn how to do that. And that's what Reiki taught me. And I remember level 1, you're doing scanning, with your hand. And level 1, you learn how to scan with your hands. And basically, over a certain point, you will know where the fault lies. Okay? And it was, again, interesting for me. Level 2, they teach you long-distance scanning. At the end of level 2, my master tells us, we're sitting in class, I want you to scan Sachin Tendulkar. Okay? I was thinking, what? I want you to scan Sachin Tendulkar. And I thought, oh shit, something must have happened to him today. He must have hurt himself or injured himself. And now she's testing us to see if we can find the injury, long distance scan. She says, I know all of you are nervous. Just follow what I've taught you and just go with what I've taught you. I'm sitting there saying, what the hell? So anyway, I sat down, put him in the thing as you're supposed to, did the scan. Saw one tiny purple dot, saw a blue dot, saw a slight blue dot here. And I scanning the arm, I can't see anything. Again, I'm scanning second time, third time. But each time I saw a white box here, like a light, on his forehead, there was some sort of a white light box. I'm trying to go down, where's the pain, where's the everything, where's the injury, where's whatever, can't find it. So I open my eyes, I say, I'm done. I don't have any ability to scan, I'm hopeless at this. And she looks around at all of us and she says, who saw the white box of light on his head? And I looked at her, and everyone else looked at her, and she says, and that is when you know you can scan. And it was so, and there's a reason she gave us such a dinner, because there's a reason the white box is there, which was all explained to us. But it's so fascinating that we all have the ability to tune in to other dimensions and energies across time and space. And it is so fascinating to know how your journey is just a simple human journey here, which is connected to some infinite other cosmic intelligence thing that's going on there, and you can tap into it anytime you want for guidance as to where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do in this lifetime. If you go into your interlife, if you go to a regression therapist, a past life regression therapist, and say, I'd like to visit my interlife to see why I chose the parents and what I'm supposed to really accomplish in this life. What am I here to do? It makes life so much easier. And what is the baggage I have to undo? Because what happens is, you have a lifetime, and you've collected a certain amount of karmic baggage, and you go beyond the bardo in that lifetime, and you've exited the bardo, and you go up beyond the bardo, and beyond the bardo, there's only the frequency of pure love. So in that frequency of pure love, you've decided and made all these decisions about your next journey on earth, and who's going to go and play this and play that in order to achieve A, B, C, D. And the emotions there are pure love. There's only one frequency of pure love. The moment you come below the bardo, that energy, which is your karmic baggage, recognizes that energy signal and comes and attaches itself to you. And you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize I had to deal with that as well, because you don't realize you've left it behind, right? Because you're not on that plane anymore. So when you've come down below the bardo and that baggage comes and sticks with you, and you're like, oh damn, now I have to redo this because it's going to keep coming in the way because it's unfinished business, right? And it's got an energetic charge and imprint within you. So again, you learn how to undo things that are taking away from this particular life, or blocking you in this particular life to take your life ahead. So all these are very fascinating things for me in the world of energy work. And the good part is, it's not true to me. Each and every one of you has the ability to tune in. So Reiki is extremely powerful. Reiki as a science is amazing. Hypnotherapy is amazing. Just unblocking what you need to do is amazing. I mean, as you go along, you'll automatically gravitate to what works for you. It could be crystal healing. It could be, it could be shamanism. It could be just about anything. A soul retrieval. It could be that you feel your soul is fragmented in different places. You want to do shamanism and retrieve your soul fragments from across the energetic planes. It could be just about anything. And it's really strange because each time you do this, and I've kept an open mind, but at some point I always think, what nonsense, what is this going to do, what is this? But over time, because of the experiences and because of the results that I've had, I've got more and more interested to find out more. And each time I go out there and do something, energize more within me, and I energize more opportunity or abundance or energy within me, I suddenly realize how powerful these sciences are, and we should all be using them.
Thank you, Ms. Pooja. May I now request Senior Vice Chairperson Pratibha Kunda to deliver her vote of thanks.
Wow, Pooja. I think we didn't even realize how, we just didn't realize how time flew by. And it was an absolute privilege to listen to you. And you've done many hats. Yeah, many hats. Be it an actress or a media icon or a wellness entrepreneur. I thank Ms. Pooja on behalf of Flow Hyderabad and Priya Gazdar, Chairperson Priya Gazdar. Pooja's wellness journey has been nothing short of remarkable. She has shown us that true freedom comes from self-discovery and inner healing. Her personal experiences and professional expertise have truly given us a fresh perspective on how to navigate life with purpose and positivity and give your 100% to whatever you do. As Pooja shared the journey from limitations to liberation, it's deeply personal, and her words today have ignited a spark in all of us to explore our inner strength. Maybe your simple words will always stay with us. I think I speak for everyone when I say her insights will stay with us, empowering us to reframe our challenges and rise above them. I would also like to express a sincere appreciation to our audience. Your engagement and enthusiasm have been the heartbeat of today's session, making this experience richer and more interactive. A warm note of gratitude to our past chairs for their continued encouragement and gratitude, and of course a special acknowledgement to the events team whose dedication and hard work have made this event possible. We are also thankful to our sponsors, Platinum sponsors Tira by Tubarumals, Initiative sponsor McLean Group, Gold sponsor Oro Jewelers, Creative partner RBC Worldwide, and gifting partner Hemis. As we conclude, I invite you all to join us for high tea and continue these conversations. Thank you.